Good day, everyone. So today we have with us John Licht, who is the Program Manager, Trade and Investment at the Melanesian Spearhead Group. Hello, John.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, Tandia. Thank you.
Very interesting discussion that we'll be having with John today. He is overseeing the PITAP project. John, could you tell us what is the PITAP project for those watching who do not know what it is?
Thank you, Andia, and thank you for the opportunity to come out on air on the PITAP project. PITAP is an acronym that stands for the Pacific Integration Technical Assistance Program. It's funded by the European Union under the 10th envelope. We refer to it as an envelope, but it's actually the 10th European Union Development Fund. They refer to it as the 10th EDF. PITAP is an important project for the region. It's fully funded by the European Union, and like I said, administered through the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat in Suva, Fiji, and MSG, Melanesian Spearhead Group, was a successful recipient of this program, which is a grant money from the European Union in 2014 through a submission that we sent to the European Union through the Forum Secretariat. PITAP stands for the Pacific Integration Technical Assistance Project.
That's great. So really this is a huge milestone for the Pacific. I'm sure this project has a few key result areas that you guys have to make sure that it's implemented towards. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, very, very good point. And just so before I go to the key result area, the amount that we receive from this, as our Director General has referred to, is quite a mammoth amount. It's quite huge for a small division such as the Trade and Investment Division, which I oversee, for an amount amounting up to 1,750,000 euro. That's an equivalent of 218 million Vatu to spend over 2 years. Is one of the exciting as well as challenging work that we have to do to ensure that the key result areas you referred to are clearly achieved, and also within the guidelines of the European Union in how we spend the money. The key result areas and there to successfully carry out and complete negotiations on an MSG free trade agreement by 2017. Second one was to integrate private sector discussions, private sector into the trade policy framework for the MSG region. In that we were tasked to ensure that the issues of private sector, in as far as economic integration is concerned, in how we shape up the new trade agreement, we were tasked to listen to the concerns of our private sector across the MSG region on issues relating to infant industries, on issues relating to access to finance, access to technical support, and also one of the key issues that we were supposed to continuously work on with our private sector is to improve the access to markets for their exports. And that's some of the key result areas that the MSG-PITAP team works on, is to look at those international markets and to see how our private sector can tap those markets within the means or the framework that we have under the Melanesian Free Trade Agreement.
And on that same topic, I am aware that there is a private sector development week coming up. Is that anytime soon? And what are some of the objectives you hope to achieve by bringing this private sector together?
Yes, we have planned for September 19 to 23 of September is a MSG private sector week, and private sector week that we have planned for Honiara will comprise of actually 5 meetings that will start on the 19th right through to the 23rd of September. A couple of the meetings, the heads of investment and promotion agencies meeting. This takes together the heads of the IPAs, the heads of the equivalents of FIPA, which is what we have in Vanuatu. The IPA Papua New Guinea is what we have in BNG. The Fiji Invest is what you have in Fiji, and also in Solomon Islands, the Solomon Islands Bureau of Investment. So we are planning to have this series of meetings that will also involve later in the week the heads of cooperative associations, including also producer cooperatives, and also part of the workshop or meeting in that week will also take together the small and medium enterprise businesses. We talk about the likes of women in business, youth at work, the very small informal economy, which most of the times most international organizations or agencies do not have any program or do not focus on how they could empower these small businesses. So the PSD strategy, the MSG PSD strategy, looks at across the sector, involving also the women in business, the youth at work, and a very small informal economy, as to how we can look at areas to assist these businesses in developing their products, in developing what they do best, and how they can bring this to the market, and from the market domestically, how we can look at some of the areas that needing assistance, so that we can support them, so these products or services can eventually start reaching the international markets. And that's the aim of the discussions that we will be having during the PSD week in Honiara, covering, as I've said, the MSG private sector development strategy, and looking at these various sectors of how we can empower our business in Melanesia.
So it's definitely exciting times ahead for trade and investment within the Pacific. I know that PITAP is rounding up, coming to its end, but in hindsight, what are some of the challenges or achievements that really stand out to you that you feel are milestones for the Pacific?
Yeah, for the MSG region, that is anti-air, PITAP is a very exciting program, and I'm privileged to be around when this program came up for the MSG Secretariat, and I think we've achieved a lot in the last 2 years since we've received the funds way back in mid-2014. We've recruited 4 TAs, 4 international TAs. One is a private sector development advisor. Another one is a capacity development advisor. And we also have the trade and research analyst and a trade economist legal. These are international experts in their own rights. They come with a wealth of qualification and experience, and it's been good to work with the 4 TAs, but it's also quite challenging to manage the project at times with the limited time frame that we have for 2 years, to ensure that we spend the money, the 1,750,000 euros, that's equivalent of about 218 million Vatu in 2 years. But just not just splashing the funds everywhere. It's also to do with procurement, and it's to do with strict guidelines that we have and we have to adhere to. And so the capacity development advisor, the work of Ms. Eleni Tevi, is very important to ensure that we follow these strict guidelines in how we spend the funds under the specific key result areas that we've referred to. So yes, it was exciting, but it was also a big learning curve, and also it was challenging, but I would sum it up as quite rewarding for the MSG Secretariat, for the team that works behind the scene, including the core staff that we have with us that is closely working with the MSG Secretariat PITAP TAs.
Well, John, we really appreciate what you have done, including the TAs that are working alongside you, and we hope to see more projects like this implemented in the future. You briefly mentioned that October is when this project comes to an end. What's next? What happens after that?
Yeah, interesting. It's an important question. PITAP comes to an end in October this year. We come into a period where we're still uncertain as to the continuity of PITAP. The 11th ETF from the European Union will come in around November 2017, as we've been told. We are in a dilemma where we have this Melanesian Free Trade Agreement, the MSG private sector development strategy, the recommendations from the 5 studies that we've carried out. So our members are there, they have high expectations of what we deliver from here. We're hoping that we will receive some sort of bridging fund that can take us between now and November 2017, when we will be able to receive the 11th envelope, a portion to the MSG Secretariat to carry out most of its work that is remaining in the key result areas that we look at, to improving the livelihood of the people of Melanesia, to achieving a happy, prosperous Melanesia by 2038.